Wait, 10th Grove. If you're seeing this video now, you'll already win further. Before we go any further, do one simple thing. Subscribe to the channel. Right now. One thing. No extra sword. Done. Great. Now like... Not later. Not at the end. Now. Because every like is a signal to the algorithms that this video is worth so to others. And now comes the key.
Okay, as a rapper dating another artist, especially in Chicago, what Shorty say? And I wish I never met her. I wish I never met her. To be honest, knowing what it is when you signed up is truly important, but never again. The music's still hard though. The music always be hard. The music always be hard. You can say what you want to say. At the end of the day, the songs be hard. It is what it is. Don't date rappers though, once again. Have to reiterate.
She just wanna date a rapper or a singer, entertainer. She can see the movement popping, so she keep me on retainer.
Put a finger down if you've been talking to a guy for a couple days and you've been on a couple dates with him and this is your third date with him and you decide to have a night in together. So you're having pizza, watching movies, drinking wine, snuggling, laughing, expressing your feelings towards each other. You then go to bed. And while you're laying in bed with him, you're laying on his chest and he's texting another girl, and this girl has heart emojis next to her name, and he's texting her right in front of you. So you, of course, ask, hey, who's that? He tells you that it is his friend's girlfriend. Confused why her name would have hearts next to it if it's a friend's girlfriend, but okay, I don't know your friendships, whatever. She's asking him to come pick her up. She is drunk at a bar, she can't drive, she's throwing up, and she's constantly FaceTiming him, constantly asking him to come pick her up. I ask him, why can't the boyfriend just go pick her up? Why is she contacting you? He tells you that her boyfriend is in Orlando. Okay. So he keeps telling you that he's not going to take her, and then you start to fall asleep, and he decides that he is going to take her. So he starts getting ready. You can tell because you're in and out of sleep, but you hear water running, you hear clothes rustling. I just remember thinking, I'm like, what is taking this guy so long to just go get these girls? Just throw on a hoodie and go, right? Finally, he leaves. It was around 12:30, 12:45-ish. I fall asleep. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there is nobody next to me. He never came home. So, of course, I'm freaking out. I'm scared. I'm thinking, like, oh my God, something bad's happened to him. You're looking up car crashes in the area. You're just standing in this random bedroom that you've never been in before alone. And you're like, what is going on? And then you remember, oh, he's with another bitch. So, of course, you grab all your stuff because what the hell? You grab all your stuff. You drive 30 minutes back home at 4 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, you text him and call him. And you're like, hey, where are you? And no answer, of course. And then at 6:30 in the morning, he decides to text you. What happened was he picked them up, brought them inside, had a beer, which if the girls were completely belligerent, why would you want to have a beer there if they're throwing up? Because that's what he was saying. They were throwing up everywhere, and he had to pick the one girl up and take her inside. And I'm like, so why would you have a beer there anyway? After the beer, it was around 3-ish, and he went to go just shut his eyes in a gas station parking lot for about 15 minutes, and turned into 4 hours of a nap. He likes to call it a nap. Now, would that make sense? I mean, still no. But to make matters even worse, he works night shift. He's used to being up at night. And he lives 25 minutes away from downtown. Why do you need to take a nap in between that? Anyways, so of course, you don't believe any of that. So he left you in his bed alone to go sleep with another girl, even though he was already taken care of. But he needed more, I guess. Man needs more. I wasn't enough. That's fine. That's fine. So you call him out of his bullshit. You're like, I don't believe you at all. I'm never talking to you again. You're disgusting and literally fuck off. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to try to find this girl. So this guy has 2 Instagrams because he's girly pop. And has a Finsta and a real Instagram. And he doesn't use his real Instagram, so he says, and his Finsta is what he follows you on. So you go look him up. he's blocked you already. Because, of course, I did something wrong here. He's blocked you already on his Finsta, and then you go to see his regular Instagram to see if you can find the girl. He deleted his entire Instagram. The entire real Instagram is gone. Does that scream guilty or what?
Listen to me. So listen to me. Huh? Listen. I'm gonna call you back in 30 minutes. And you better have answers.
I have time today, so let me tell y'all about the first time that I met an Arab man. And I'm from a small country town, Amarillo, Texas, so I had never met an Arab man in my life up until I moved to Dallas. And this is like the most stereotypical Latina and Arab way to meet that you could possibly think of. And I don't even understand this story till this day, and it still don't make sense to me. So I moved to Dallas, and I moved to these high rises, and I pull up to the parking garage. Mind you, I have like super dark tinted windows. You cannot see me when I'm driving, but I'm blasting Raul Alejandro. And this Arab man is like parked like down the hall of like the row of like cars, and he hears my music, and he like turns really fast, and he like waits for whoever is driving to get out of the car because he wants to see who's driving. I guess he heard my music. So then he like waits for me to get out of the car, and he's like, I really like your music. Are you Latina? And I was like, yeah, I am. And he was all like, oh, okay. Like, do you live here? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he was like, how come I've never seen you? And I was like, I just moved about 2 weeks ago. And he's like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I'm about to actually move out. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that's unfortunate. So I'm like walking to the elevator as I'm talking, and he's like, wait, I want to talk to you. So I like press the elevator like, all right. This is typically not my type to go for because I never had met one before. But he looked very handsome. Like, he was very put together. He had on this really nice like Middle Eastern outfit with like chains on and like a watch and like a Louis bag. I'm like, okay, so he has money. So then I'm waiting for the elevator. He ends up being in the elevator with me, and he's like, yeah, I'm actually moving because I'm going through so much right now. Like, he starts trauma dumping on me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I feel so bad. Like, my savior instincts come in, and I'm like, I feel so bad. Like, are you okay? Like, everything's gonna be fine. And he's like, you know what? Your energy just makes me feel so comfortable. Like, I really needed this interaction today. And I was all like, oh, like, you're welcome. And he's like, are you a Gemini? And I was like, I am a Gemini. How do you know that? And he's like, I'm very spiritual. So we connect on Instagram, and we start texting, and we start hanging out, going to lunch. And I'm not gonna lie, he's a little sketch, and he's giving me this hot and cold type of energy that intrigues me. And so I'm like stuck. I'm like, I really like this guy. Maybe this is my soulmate. He's bringing me gifts every single time that I meet him. And boom, I'm a lash tech. And at the time, I didn't have my own studio yet because I had just moved to Dallas and I didn't know anyone. This girl messages me on Instagram, and she's like, hey girl, can you do my lashes? And I'm like, yeah, come through. I'm home based. And like, we're chatting during her appointment. We get along really well. She's Latina as well. And she tells me,
Alright, so boom, right? So it's definitely gonna be like 2 parts to this one, probably. So I was talking to this girl, getting to know her. We cool, everything is valid. She tells me that she got a male best friend. Cool. That's fine with me. Like, I'm not the jealous type. I am gonna get to know how y'all was friends. And I will connect dots. So boom, I asked her, I'm like, yo, like, how did y'all meet? And she was like, oh, we met in school. He was my coach. What? Hey, yo. I'm like, he was your coach? She said, yeah, I was playing basketball and he was like the assistant coach. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, well, and then we met again when I was in college. So so what happened was he finished college and went right back to I guess the school he graduated from to teach, which I guess he only did a 2-year degree. So he's probably like, what, 19, or maybe he's like 20, 21. So she seen him there, and then she met him again when she was in college. So I'm like, all right, cool, boom. I'm like, so how did y'all like become like how did y'all become friends? Now, mind you, I told her this. I said, yo, listen, if this is your male best friend and y'all did something together, and maybe it didn't work out, maybe I was trying, maybe I got, you know, y'all got intimate and it just didn't work, and y'all just want to be friends, y'all felt like it was just better that way for y'all to just be really close friends, that's cool. Like, just talk to me about it. Let me know. I don't.
Oh yeah, one more thing. If y'all see me on Love Island, mind your fucking business, bitch. I'm trying to find love, bitch. Y'all had y'all motherfucking chance.
Alright, so this is part 2 of my Valentine's Day date horror story. That wasn't supposed to be a date, but turned into a date, I guess. Basically, so the kid, I was like 19, so it's like 10 years ago. This kid I went to like middle school with, we like reconnected. I thought as friends, he thought something more. And basically this kid had a tantrum when I rejected him, like absolute tantrum. And I was driving, mind you. So the fact is, he threw away my food and basically I was like, do you want to go home? And he's like, yeah. On the drive back, which was probably like 20 minutes, he was throwing his phone in my car, like off my dashboard, throwing it. And back and forth, like throwing it. And I was like, okay, this is completely uncomfortable, but I wasn't saying anything. I was like, I'm just going to get this kid home and we'll never talk to him again, probably. And then he pulled out this trump card where he basically told me he was going to kill himself. He was going to unalive himself because I didn't want to date him. I did not like that. So I messaged a mutual friend and I was like, can you talk to him? Because I'm pretty much ready to never talk to this kid again. He's like, oh, that's not cool. Like, fuck that. So basically, I dropped him off at his house. He slammed my car door. I basically had to like force him out of the car too. I was like, you need to get out. And he, he left and he slammed the door and whatever. Later, he messages me after our mutual friend basically was like, hey, you can't talk to anybody like that. You can't threaten to kill yourself. And he messaged me. He's like, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I hope we can still be friends. And I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to be your
What happened to your eye? I just have really bad hay fever, so they get a bit bloodshot and swollen sometimes. The pollen this year is just absolutely wild.
If anyone was ever curious what it's like to try dating in LA, I'm going to give you just like a little taste of what it's like with this story time. So a little while ago, I had Hinge, as we all find ourselves on there at some point in our lifetime, and I matched with this guy. I'm going to be real, he was probably my dad's age, borderline, a little older than my dad. So basically, we match, we're talking it's like, hey, how are you? What are you doing? Like the very like generic whatever, but he seems nice enough. Pretty much in our whole like text conversation for that whole day, he kept being like, I bet you have like so many questions for me. Like, I bet you're like so curious. And I was like, oh, I mean, like, yeah, I'm definitely curious. Like, I definitely want to get to know him, but he kept saying it like, oh, I bet you're like, you have so many questions to ask me. And I was like, I don't know like why he keeps saying that, but anyways, so he takes me out to dinner like literally the next day.
So I just watched this guy's like dating in Houston story time. I love a good messy story time. So the second he's like, they tried to finesse me, they tried to get over, babe, I'm set. What happened? So he goes to Lock Bar, happy hour. He walks in by himself. There are 3 girls sitting down. I'm assuming there's like no space at the bar. So they tell the waiter like, hey, he's welcome to sit with us. He goes and sits with them. He makes it a point to say he's not interested in any of the women. His homeboy ends up coming. If you're not interested and your homeboy comes, I would assume you would say, oh, let's go to the bar. Thanks. We're going to do our own thing. No, he has his homeboy sit down at the table with them. They're all sitting at the table. They're eating, drinking, being merry. At some point, they all exchange Instagrams. They see he's a doctor. Direct quote, their eyes lit up. They